They're inside the mall near the northwest portion of the property. This is in and around the second floor of that property, around a pair of escalators. That altercation escalates into a shooting, and that's when those two adult men were shot. The deceased is an adult male in his early 20s, and the other individual is an adult male. I don't have a good age on him yet. He is going to make it. All signs point to that. Do you guys have any questions?
What about suspects?
Suspects. We've got a group of approximately 3 or 4 that fled the scene. We provided everyone with a person of interest, a photo taken from mall surveillance earlier. Please circulate that. Please contact us or Crime Stoppers with any information on that individual or his whereabouts. We hope to be able to provide more information, more stills and or video as the investigation continues. As you can imagine, we have a lot going on right now. We've got many officers from many different departments that are systematically clearing the property behind us. Stores, the common areas and the areas around it. All of the customers and employees are safe inside. They are going to be released shortly if they have not already.
What information can you give the public about other people? We have that person with you, but anything about body movement, clothing, any description?
That's a great question, Vinny. What we need to do, we have a lot of people that were in the mall today. We have a lot of people that probably just fled out of instinct, survival, or anything else. And a lot of people that we've probably not talked to yet. We'll need to talk to everybody. Their perspective is incredibly valuable to this investigation. Whatever they heard, saw, or experienced, we need to know about. So if you or your loved one were at the Galleria Mall today, especially in the northwest corner of the property when this incident occurred, please call our investigators, please.
The photo of the person of interest, it's not 100% clear. He appears to be holding a weapon of some kind. Is that the case? Do you believe that weapon may have been used in these shootings?
I believe the identification and the apprehension of that individual will be of paramount importance as we move forward. A little while ago, you probably saw a lot of police cars moving around pretty quickly with their lights and sirens. We're fielding some calls for suspicious persons, things like that, of people that loosely match that description. Now, clearly we will weed out any of the frivolous ones, but we need to identify that individual as soon as possible.
Early on, was there a concern that the shooter was still inside the mall? And how did you go about the process of making sure that wasn't the case, while at the same time responding to sightings outside the mall? Because we saw police officers with rifles and search dogs working neighborhoods around the perimeter of the mall.
That's not an easy process. There's a lot going on, but the preservation of life is paramount. Of course, the big concern was an active shooter. That's everybody's worst nightmare, especially in a busy place like this. That was not the case. Ultimately, we believe those suspects fled on foot from the scene, possibly from the Dillard's area, in and around Dillard's. Once we were able to further that, we were able to kind of direct the search effort the best we can once we knew that there was no loss of life occurring at that point in time. And then you have to just change your focus, how you're responding, to be the most appropriate.
This dispute, was it all based in the mall? Was it from a previous run-in? What do you know about that?
That's a good question, and I don't have an answer for it at this point in time. If there's a relationship between the individuals involved in these two groups, we don't know it yet. Obviously, our investigators hope to identify that as soon as possible.
And touching on people leaving the scene, just before you guys walked up, a parent in their minivan came freaking out, literally, talking about, were these people at a school, were they hiding around the school? Was there ever any communication put out to the public that they could have been hiding in a school or neighborhood or something like that?
I don't believe there was ever any information to induce that type of dialogue. The last that we had was that they fled the area on foot in Dillard's. There is no known threat to any other individuals in the area at all. Now, again, what the relationship between these two groups of individuals are, we don't know yet, but we'll certainly be exploring the possibilities.
Just to be clear, are you looking for one gunman? How many different people total are you looking for? Are you just one believed to be a shooter, or where do you stand on that?
The group that the suspect was with is comprised of 3 or 4 individuals. We hope, as detectives have more time to work, to provide a little bit better of a description of those individuals. Now, the actual assailants, I don't know. Could be one, could be more in that group. but each of their roles is going to be important to identify and understand as we move forward.
Talk about the investigation process. I know surveillance video plays a key. We have that photo, but that's a big building, lots of nooks and crannies in there. Talk about getting in touch with the stores, getting surveillance video. Just kind of elaborate on that part of the investigation.
It's a tremendously long and meticulous process. We have to identify anything that has evidentiary value. So that way we could put forth the most thorough and complete case we possibly can to the prosecuting attorney's office. And that's why these things, they don't just take, this happened 4 hours ago, roughly, 3.5, 4 hours ago. This will take weeks, if not months, to bring this thing to conclusion. And we won't leave any stone unturned. That's why we have to get in touch with those people that we have probably not talked to yet. We have to evaluate each of the video surveillance systems available to us, whether that's in a store, a neighboring business, or just in the common grounds of the mall.
How unusual is a scene like this?
I would be shocked if the mall opens today. Now, we'll be here as long as it takes to be thorough and complete.
Talk about the response. There were officers from as far as Chesterfield, Baldwin. Is this kind of like a mutual aid thing that's rehearsed and practiced all the time? And if so, how did it come out in reality today?
Well, we prepare for the worst, we hope for the best. If information is very limited, in this case it was when it first came out, about a potential active shooter at a very busy commercial location, you're going to see a whole lot of people come to help. They're trying to stop the loss of life, and they're trying to identify and apprehend those responsible as soon as possible. I think what we saw today was a great example of the mutual aid that we have with one another. When somebody puts out the ask for help, they get it.
And
was there an exchange of gunfire, or was there really just one person firing at the victim?
That's a good question I don't have an answer for yet.
I see you have other law enforcement officers, the chief of Richmond Heights, St. Louis County. You also have the prosecuting attorney. Talk about their roles, or if they want to say, just talk about their roles of them being here so thoroughly.
Well, the Richmond Heights Police Department requested the assistance of the St. Louis County Police Department's Bureau of Crimes Against Persons to investigate this homicide. With that comes the Public Information Office. Behind us, you've seen a lot of our patrol officers, a lot of those in the Special Response Unit or the Tactical Operations Unit. It's kind of an all-hands-on-deck approach. Mr. Bell in the Prosecuting Attorney's Office will have the final say-so in the way that this matter is adjudicated, if at all, and I would just refer to Mr. Bell to address any questions directly.
Care to add anything, Mr. Bell?
If you can just give us your observations so early on.
Our role at this point is to support the investigation. And so we want to be here, eyes on the scene. There's things that law enforcement needs, and I think it also helps for us to be here to also kind of, because we know how we need to prove a case, and we knew, and that's going to be sometimes a little bit different than the direct investigation by law enforcement. So we want to make sure that we're here to support that effort. And as Ben said, we want them to do they're going to do a detailed and thorough investigation, and we're going to make sure that we don't leave any stones unturned, and hopefully this ends with someone charged and arrested and convicted.
This could be for either of you, but here we stand at the St. Louis Galleria Mall. It's iconic, right? It's like, it may be a bit of an exaggeration, but it's almost like Busch Stadium or some downtown venue that everybody knows. And to have an afternoon, which is peaceful at lunchtime, as this happened, I believe, over the lunch hour around 12:30, then all of a sudden the world turns on its head, and you've got police officers surrounding the place with dogs outside, inside, with their rifles out. I mean, up and down the streets, going through neighborhoods. It's a bit frightening, it's off-putting, and
Yeah, I'm reporter Sarah Maki here outside the Galleria Mall. We are just stepping away from the press conference to give you kind of a recap of what we've just learned from the police out here. We did find out that this came in today as an active shooter call, but luckily police say that that was not the case. Most people out here today not in any danger. They say that this really started as an argument between two different groups, and here's what we know from them right now. They say one man in his 20s has died as a result of his injuries. The other is expected to survive. We're told that that person was shot in the arm out today. Police say say that they are still looking for a group of 3, maybe 4 other people who left the scene on foot out of the Dillard's parking lot. They say that there was just a large group of people out here. Customers and employees are going to be released soon. And they say that the mall right now, a lot of the people that just ran, they need to talk to them. But the stores out here, they do remain closed. We do have some video from earlier today, and if we can pop that up, I want you to take a look at it, because police say that they are still searching for one man involved in all of this. If you take a look, you'll see this person was caught on surveillance video out here at the scene, and police say that they're trying to attempt to identify this person of interest, as they're calling him. Again, what we know about the actual shooting, 2 people were shot, 1 dead, 1 has been injured and is expected to survive. We're told that a lot of this was focused outside of the Champs, which is a sporting goods store today. Again, the people were then leaving here on foot outside of the Dillards. We saw a lot of different agencies responding: Richmond Heights, County Police, but also Ladue, Brentwood, Maplewood, Frontenac, and a whole lot more. We did just hear from police that they say, again, they are still searching for many suspects, but this scene, they believe, is going to be okay. They say they are now systematically closing down one neighborhood after the other, going around and clearing them. My coworker, Robert, he's actually been out here today too. So Robert, I know that you've been trying to talk with some people about what happened inside and their loved ones being in there as well. So can you give us a little bit more on that?
Sure, Sarah. As you can imagine, there were lots of shoppers and workers inside this popular mall at the time of this afternoon's deadly shooting. If you look back there, you can see right now, again, several police officers still out here. Popular intersections all around the Galleria Mall are shut down. Police also still have every inch of this mall roped off with yellow crime scene tape. Now, I talked to several people out here walking around. One shopper tells me she was visibly upset and worried about her nephew who was inside the mall at the time of today's double shooting. Another woman, she just got here minutes ago. She too waiting to be reunited with her loved one at this hour. Now, I also want you to closely listen to this mall employee. We talked to him on the telephone. He does not want us to release his name, but he does want you to hear what he heard when those bullets ripped through the air.
I was walking back from my lunch from the food court, and I was going up the escalator, and I heard 3 gunshots. And I knew what it was right away, but people were just like kind of wondering what that was or whatever. And then I saw some people running down from the area where it came from.
Obviously, lots of chaos inside at the time. But again, we also saw several police officers race out of here, race to nearby neighborhoods. We actually follow them to a neighborhood down the street where they searched the grounds intensely with a K9. They circled around several parking lots, obviously looking for someone or some kind of evidentiary piece that could connect this all together. But again, right now, you can see just now several people still walking out off the mall. Right now we're seeing a lady hugging her possible friend or relative. Again, I'm waiting to talk to a lot of these folks. Again, a lot of people are still huddled inside. Police have not officially let them out, but as soon as they do, we hope to talk to them. Live now in Richmond Heights, I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
For the latest on this story, follow us on air and online. You can also download the 5 on your side app to sign up for breaking news alerts. Coming up, what we're learning after the death of another Fort Hood soldier. And some promising news in the research to create a COVID-19 vaccine, and it's happening here in St. Louis.
And hi, meteorologist Jim Castillo here. It is a calmer night, but it is not rain-free. A couple of storms on the radar. We'll take a look at a flash flood warning, too, coming up in